You know?
Let me tell you this, but this would be definitely a viral interview. So,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
do whatever you feel is right.
Call me by my name or I'm done.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, man. I'm Jacob.
Of
I'm the
course.
one who's been contacting with your agent. That's my co-host Jason.
Hello.
In the other screen there.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Basically, what we're gonna do is I have a little ad read at the start. Then we're gonna kick it over to our theme song, which you won't be able to hear because it goes through Jason's soundboard. We'll introduce ourselves, and then I'll introduce you, and we'll bullshit. Like we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, your upcoming shows, just whatever, man.
All right. Question: are you hearing air conditioning?
No.
That's good. Okay. I mean, is it? And am I sounding okay with the?
Oh yeah, you sound perfect.
All right, because I got one of these daddies.
Yeah. That's what I'm using.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like to, but I don't have you got a fancy pop guard and shit. I'm just like.
Oh yeah. I don't even have one of those.
Dude, before I got a pop guard, I just used to put an old sock over it, so now it stinks eternally.
Fucking gross. Dude.
What if but you might have a subconscious foot fetish because of that.
I don't know, maybe.
Or a conscious foot fetish.
Yeah, exactly. A knowing foot fetish.
All right, so Jacob, you
let's do it.
You got the ad read ready?
Yep, looking at the ad read right now. You gonna give me a countdown?
All right, and 3, 2, 1, go.
Aquarius Productions specializes in photography, videography, sound, and entertainment. Comedy reels, headshots, music videos. Make sure to catch Zachary Perkins' latest music video dropping this week. Aquarius worked with the talent of Astro Clown Productions to make it. Insert chef's kiss here. I'm not fucking doing it this time.
Did you say nude video? I'm not watching a nude video.
No, a new video. You fucking delinquent. Aquarius worked with I already read that part. Aquarius is here to help you realize your vision. And if you aren't an entertainer and you love entertainment, I mean, who does it? They are here to produce comedy and music events for you. Contact their Facebook or Instagram page for details. Aquarius, content created by artists for artists. Let's start the show.
Thursday night, and you know what time it is. It's time for the Open Micers podcast. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm Jacob Craig, and I actually know what fucking day it is. Tonight, our
it's Wednesday. It's Thursday or Wednesday? What day is it?
It's Wednesday afternoon. It's not even nighttime, dude.
I'm old.
It's not even fucking nighttime.
Shut your face.
So our guest tonight, if I go over all of his credits, we're going to have just an episode of that. But he has been in probably every comedy festival known to man. He's been on Comedy Central dozens of times. He's been on True TV. He hosts his own podcast. And you will actually have a lot of chances to see him coming up because he's coming to Hattiesburg, Brewski's in Hattiesburg, June 18th. Club 337 in Lafayette, Louisiana on June 19th. The Alabama Music Box in Mobile, Alabama. I will go to that show for sure on June 20th. And Whiskey Runner's Saloon in Pensacola, Florida on June 24th. So all of our listeners should be able to go somewhere to one of those shows. Please welcome probably one of the greatest comedians on the planet right now, Mr. Sean Patton. How are you doing today, sir?
That's just, you know what? And that was great. I'll send you a check or Venmo for that intro.
Yeah. I need at least $5, something like that.
That felt like it was written by my subconscious, you know, or my mom, you know. What's the difference, you know?
So you were born in New Orleans, weren't you?
I'm originally from Chalmette, Louisiana, which is like the Staten Island of New Orleans, you know.
So you do that thing that all Southerners do where you're from some other like bullshit little town and you just tell everyone you're from the nearest city that they would know.
Oh, no. Chalmette's legit part of like the New Orleans proper. But I mean, it's a different parish, which I don't think any other state or city or anyone fucking has. I think only like old cities in France have them. It's ridiculous. But like Chalmette's legit like the fucking white trash haven of New Orleans. It's like right next to it's right next to the Ninth Ward. We're not white trash. We're more like white recyclable. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. It sounds a lot like where I'm from specifically, because I'm from Van Cleve, and whenever I'm on the road, I'm just like, yeah, I'm from Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Because no one's gonna know that Van Cleve is the meth capital of the world.
Is it?
Oh, it is. Yeah, for real. Yeah. If you need meth, man, just come hit me up.
I mean, I'm not surprised that it's in Mississippi, but the Mississippi I also refer to as the Connecticut of the South.
Yeah.
Because there's
how does he get to do that kind of joke? And when I do that joke, it lands like a turd on shag carpet.
Jason does have a joke very similar to that. Yeah.
That it's the Connecticut?
No, we were in Florida a few weeks ago, and I went right up on stage. My first joke was, "Good to be back in Florida, the Alabama of the South," and I got heckled to death afterwards.
Florida is like a meth head. It's like a like Florida as a state is like and I know there's going to be Florida pride people who hate that, but like there's some great parts of Florida, but there's a lot of areas of Florida where it's like, I don't know what I'm getting right now. There's no consistency as to like you've been there. Some cities are just like madness, crazy redneck fucking lunatics. And then some are like
Panama City. Yeah.
Yeah. Some are like cultural, like chill, like I was surprised at how what's international Orlando is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And like a lot of Brits love Florida. They love it. They love that.
That's the thing. Like Florida's like a microcosm of all of America, because you've got the Panhandle, which is basically just an extension of Mississippi, where it's the rednecks. It's like Trump country. And then the more you get into it, it's sort of like like you get to the Orlando area. It's like Disney destination. You go down to Tampa. It's like. Yeah, that's a whole different world. You go to Miami, it's very, very Latin, and it's like all this different stuff in one state. It's crazy. Yeah.
And
it's all shit.
And they don't like being called the Alabama.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way.
Wait, where in Florida were y'all?
We were in Pensacola, actually, where you have a date coming up. How crazy is that?
I do, and like I haven't been to Pensacola in this century. How about that shit?
Wow.
Last time I was in Pensacola was like, and not because I try and avoid it. I don't. It's like you just find years go by and then you're like, I haven't been to the Panhandle in a while. Yeah. I wonder what's going on in the Pensacola area. A show I can do? Well, then, touche. But for the most part, yeah, man. I mean, every state's got fucking idiots. You know what I mean? Like, every state, like California is full of fucking rednecks and also I don't know what you call the opposite of a white neck, like a fucking a pale neck, because they have sweaters. They have sweaters on and they never go outside and they just sit on their computers and complain about how offensive everything is. The pale necks, it's got that. New York's got fucking idiots everywhere. I mean, I love New York City, but you get outside of New York and you're like, whoa, okay, here's where here you go.
Kind of makes you wonder, like when you travel around the country, which I have done before, and like you said, there's idiots everywhere, and you're just like, how are we surviving as a country?
Buddy, as a species, you go around. That's the thing. Like, don't let any other country shit talk you as an American. I mean, because they've all got fucking morons as well. Like, you go to England, there's dipshits everywhere. Fucking Australia. I went to China a few years ago, and there's some great parts of China, but there's also some like hardcore racist, just government loving fucking Chinese, and it's freaky. It's the human race. It shocks me that we're still here.
It's probably because our rate of pregnancy and birth, kind of outweighs our stupidity.
Yeah.
And I guess we're just outnumbering the actual.
Yeah, we have volume on our side for sure.
Well, yeah.
That's all it is.
I mean, also living up north, like if you're living up here, being from the South, you've got a lot of fucking people who've never been to the South, but just like make these assumptions about it. Or just like, oh, you're from the South. How many cousins have you boned? And you're like, first of all, that's a fucking ridiculous stereotype. Secondly, I do have at least 3 third cousins that I think are pretty hot. And third cousin does mean no blood relation. Okay. Basically just friends. Thirdly, anyone who's never been to the South but still makes judgments about it based on like just shit they've overheard, it's just as ignorant as someone who's never left the South and thinks we're all up here drinking fucking, Catholic baby blood and worshiping the devil.
Oh, I know. When you first went up north, like I don't feel like I have an accent, but I know it comes out. But
you definitely have an accent.
I know, but I try not to I try to fix it, but it's hard because I'm surrounded by it.
Can I say that the harder you're trying not to have one, it sounds more?
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's the thing. I went up to Seattle a few years ago, and when I was up there, like I became like a circus freak. Like people would just like make me say things, ask me things about the South. It was weird. Like I felt like an alien.
It is ridiculous, dude. Because also I feel like certain cities in the South are more like progressive and actually human than certain parts of like the Northwest or the North or the West. Yeah, of course, man. Because like you need both sides. I don't think one's just a wash of either the left or the right creates a very fucking positive environment. You know what I mean? Like both of them. You need a little mix of both. And cities like New Orleans, or like in Texas, you got Austin, you got Houston, you got New Orleans in Louisiana, in Mississippi. I mean, I've never been to Van Cleve, but like I love Hattiesburg.
Yeah,
right. And like Alabama, I love Birmingham. I love not Hattiesburg. What's the fucking one? Huntsville. Huntsville's great. You know what I mean? Like people always think Alabama's just a bunch of fucking like tobacco like straw chewing hillbillies, and that's Montgomery. But like you go up to fucking Huntsville, that's like where NASA's think tank is.
Yeah,
right.
In northern Alabama,
And Mobile's the same way. It's like it's a really great city. It's very like progressive.
Mobile's an awesome time, dude. Mobile is where Mardi Gras started.
Oh,
as a New Orleanian, we are always reminded like it started in Mobile, but then they had God laws on Sunday. So they came our direction to our godless city. I mean, Louisiana, for the most part, you got New Orleans is awesome. Lafayette's pretty great. Baton Rouge is a good time. But a lot of Louisiana just hates the city of New Orleans. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten that feel going like through other places to get to New Orleans. Like it's entirely different from the actual city. But I actually wanted to ask you about that. Like, so I know you're based in New York now.
Yeah.
When you do go on the road and you go back home, like back to New Orleans, back to Lafayette, back to the state of Louisiana, is the reception like better there? Like, do you feel like you're at home, or does it remind you of like coming up as, getting shit on in fucking bullshit bars all the time? Like what's that kind of feeling like when you go back home now?
I mean, it depends. Like, I don't, when I do shows in New Orleans, if I put one on my, I produce it there's a couple of, because first of all, the New Orleans comedy scene has progressed so much from back when I started, way back. You know what I mean? Like, there was barely anything when I started, and then I left, and like now there's a decent little scene there, and it's pretty great. And like, so there's a couple comics I'll produce local shows with. I mean, for the most part, I find that like, I'm not like this golden boy. Like I still do shows where, people show up and they have no fucking clue who I am. They just bought tickets because they saw that I'd been on TV or like something like that. But like, I've done comedy now on 4 different continents. And if I've learned anything, is that it is a universal language, right? And that's the first thing I think I tell any comedian to like accept as fast as you possibly can. Like accept that like comedy is universal and like it's not that like when you go to also when you perform in like Australia or when you perform in like England or even China. When I was performing in China, like getting up there and thinking, oh, they're not gonna get me because I'm different is the first way to just immediately put yourself in a hole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the audience can feel it. You're not delivering it with confidence. You're being hesitant. And then you start questioning yourself on stage, like, oh, you guys just don't understand. That's too American, or that's like, because I've done that before early on when I would be here, and then I would go back home and perform and say shit like that. Say shit like, well, that's a New York thing, but it's like they understand what a New York thing is.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing that I love most about your comedy is it's so freaking relatable. No matter what you're talking about, you know, and with us being, you know, I grew up, you know, an hour away from New Orleans, like the stuff you talk about, like New Orleans, like the whole your whole story about Scuttlebutts, like
Tony Satchery's.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's so freaking relatable to everything. But I feel like the way you do it, like it's relatable to anybody from anywhere.
Thanks, man. I mean, I think the key to it all, and it's the hardest part. That's the trick. That's the catch-22, the paradox or whatever. I think I might have just named 3 completely different things, by the way. But yeah, I'm not there. I said that like, well, you know, the dichotomy, the juxtaposition, you know, the irrelevance of it all. It's like, wait, you just used 3 completely different words. But the hardest thing about doing this is learning to truly trust who you are on stage, and that should be yourself. You should be yourself. And that's the hardest person to be in front of others is 100% you, but you kind of have to in order to pull off certain things. Like any comedian can get good at the technical side of it. I see that all the time. You see comedians who get to this technical level where like they can write funny jokes. They have good stage timing. They have good stage presence. They can perform, but then they hit this wall where it seems like they just can't seem to cross it. Like and it's because they're not truly being them. They're trying to fit into a different box or a different style, or they're trying to force themselves down an avenue where in reality, it's like, as long as you're yourself, the avenues will also present themselves. You know, it's like paths are shy. They need to know you're fucking real before they open themselves up to you. I read that in a book that I wrote. I wrote that. And but basically, like, yeah, you like whenever I go home, I love going home, but I also like would never, because I've seen this shit too. I would never act like a big dog. Like that's fucking ridiculous. I've seen that a lot of times where people just roll in like, I kill these jokes, kill it in fucking New York, and it's like, well, then go back there, like because it's not working here, you know. And it's like, I'm not saying a joke needs to work everywhere. In fact, I've been a very huge proponent of like, you shouldn't try to be for everyone. You know, you shouldn't make that attempt. I think maybe 20 years ago, there was a lot of comedians saying things like, no, you got to be able to kill it in every room. I don't think that applies so much anymore. I think comedy's become so niche, especially with audiences and especially with the internet, meaning you can reach a certain type of person with a certain type of sense of humor. Like you just have to be able to do you, be your best version of you as a comedian and let the audiences find you. But don't fucking shit on them when they don't get you. I see that a lot, you know?
I think you hit the nail on the head, though. I think if you are genuinely who you are, and that's how I feel like what your comedy is, like people are generally going to get drawn to it because you are being genuine, a genuine person, like genuinely being who you are and being a funny person.
Thanks, man. I mean, it's interesting. It's such a fucking crazy time to be a comedian because there's so much of it. And like, there's so like, when I started doing comedy, which wasn't a crazy long time ago, but it was a long time ago, like it was just a different vibe. Like it was sort of this underground thing that you had to seek out. And like, it was of course popular, but it wasn't like it is now, where it's almost like I feel like we're a year or two away from like stand-up comedy classes being an alternative, or like a class you could take in high school, being like an elective. You know what I mean? Like theater, like there'll be theater or there'll be stand-up comedy. And like, I kind of just don't love that idea, and I disagree with it on a lot of levels, because I do think, and this is a completely different conversation to have, but I think institutions of art forms oftentimes ruin those art forms. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? However, it's an inevitability. Anytime something gets popular, an institution, a classroom thing is going to pop up around it. And I don't know that I agree with stand-up comedy needing a curriculum.
I kind of feel like we're about to hit another comedy boom, though, because, you know, the world has been kind of dark for a while now. So I think people are going to look for that release. And
I mean, I would argue that we're already in it. I would argue that we've been in a boom that started maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And even with the pandemic, it sustained because there was so much online. Like, so many comedians put out specials last year. You know, they filmed them before or like you got a guy like Sam Morrill, who's just so goddamn prolific that he put out a special right before the pandemic, and then during the fucking pandemic.
Jesus.
Like he filmed it all on rooftops, and it's great. And like, I would argue that we're in the midst of a boom now that will probably last another 5 or 6 years, and then there'll be another bust. But I don't think it's anything to fear, because when you look at like the original comedy bust of the early 90s, which is well before my time, but that bust spawned a lot of amazing fucking comedy.
Oh yeah.
Because the public stopped giving a shit, and it became underground. It became this like cool to like form again, as opposed to now where it's like, I mean, Jesus Christ, there's so much of it out there. And I think a lot of people are doing it wrong. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people are like trying to be cool and funny at the same time. And I'm like, nah. You should just try to be funny and let cool accomplish itself. Yeah. But when you try to be like, I'm hilarious, but I'm also fucking chill. I'm also, look how fucking cool I am. Isn't this hilarious? This is hilarious. Look at me hanging out with all these sexy people by a pool. Isn't that fucking funny? That's so fucking funny. Oh my God. Check this out, dude. I'm riding in this fucking vehicle. I don't even know what it is, an SUV. Oh, damn. Oh, that's hilarious, right? Like, there's so much of this, like, look how cool I am. I'm also a comedian bullshit. And I guarantee a lot of those comedians, you watch their acts and you're like, oh, this isn't an act. This is just a persona. You just want, but society loves that shit. Society loves cool people, and like, let the masses go fucking watch the cool comedians, you know, fucking sell shoes and be like, oh, look what I'm wearing, this outfit. In this outfit, hilarious? I'm a comedian. And let them draw all the masses, and we'll just be here like, hey, fuck it. You know, we'll be creating hilarity.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm excited for a guy like you to what the fuck were you gonna say, Jason?
I was gonna say, like, that thing about trying to be cool and all that stuff kind of reminds me of the Mother's Day show of a
oh God, dude, I don't even want
what happened? What happened? What happened? Tell me.
We had this fucking shitty headliner who's been doing comedy probably a fourth of the time I fucking have, who came in and he fucking nobody, and he's like, hey, if y'all want pictures with me after the show, you can pose with me up here at this show that's still going on, and I'm just gonna draw all the fucking attention to me. It's like,
oh, dude, buddy, those okay, because like there are certain types of like a guy like Bert Kreischer, who I fucking love him. His genius lies in his ability to make every audience in the moment feel like they are part of it's an organic thing. Have you ever seen Bert live?
I've never seen him.
No, I haven't actually.
I'd love to, though.
Yeah. Bert live is one of the fucking funnest times you'll ever have, because he gets up there. He's an amazing storyteller. He's got some fucking hilarious stories, and he's got some great jokes. He's a great joke writer. But what he does is he kind of like, he incorporates the audience into the show in a way that is real. Like, he's got his shirt off. You know, he's not trying to look cool at all. Bert Kreischer, Bert Kreischer is so cool because he doesn't give a fuck about looking cool. You understand? But he pulls the audience in and makes them part of the show in a way that I have never seen anyone else actually do successfully. And I feel like with every great comedian like that, they fucking ruin that. That's a very old saying. They ruin an entire generation. And I guarantee that guy you're talking about probably saw Bert live at one point. Was like, that's what comedy is. You just got to bring people. You got to make it, bring them on stage, make them part of the show. It's like Bert only does that because he's got fucking years of experience and material
Yes.
that he could fucking draw you in with and make you his bitch. I mean, it's like, oh, it's fucking great. You see that shit all the time, dude. Like people don't want to write or don't want to put in the work. You have to have the material. You have to have the material. I can't stress that enough. And you see so many people just want to rely on crowd work, or they love a comedian like Big J Okerson, who's known for crowd work. But what people don't realize is he's so fucking great at crowd work because he's been doing comedy for fucking 20 years and he's got chops on top of chops. He's like a butcher shop full of fucking chops. You know what I mean?
See, and the thing is, this dude claims he was from Mobile, and like me and Jacob do a lot of work in Mobile. We know pretty much every Mobile comedian, and none of them heard of him too. We're like, who is this dude?
Bro, you get those fucking I mean, that's. I almost miss that. Those fucking those psychos that just kind of roll in, and are just like, man, because you got like we used to get those guys in New Orleans all the time. These comics that would show up in town and be like, oh man, I've been doing comedy in Cincinnati, Cleveland, Buffalo, Charlotte, Miami, Chicago, Kansas City, and now I'm here. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Why didn't you stay in any of those places? And then a few weeks in, you're like, oh, because you're a psycho asshole who fucks people over for money and isn't funny and like somehow like steals jokes and ends up having to leave town because the scene blackballed you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we know tons of guys like that too, man. Everything you're describing is how the South is, like the comedy scene is right now. It's the Wild West, and it's underground. Like I do a show fucking every week in front of someone who has never seen comedy live before.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still like that, where everyone's like, oh, I didn't even know that there were local comedy shows happening right here. And then they'll just show up and show their ass and be like, oh, live comedy's great. And we're like, no, we fucking hate you.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's always going to be like oh God, that's such an annoying thing when you get audience members that like clearly want to be roasted.
Yeah.
But the problem there is like an actual roast can happen because the person being roasted has done shit with their life that everyone knows about. When you bring in your friend who's it's his 21st birthday, roast him. I don't know shit about this motherfucker.
Right.
Aside from the fact that he's 21 and that gets boring after a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that's funny, dude. Because that shit happens here too. You still get comics who come to New York who are like, dude, I've been headlining on the road for 20 years and I've done this place and that place, and everyone's like, no one cares. Now you're in New York. It's a different world.
Right.
Dude, Jacob had the thing that we all dream about happen a few weeks ago. I wasn't there for this night, but apparently the guy that showed up and was heckling and then decided to sign up for the open mic. And it's like, hallelujah. Like, why couldn't I have been there for this just to get out every bit of frustration?
Dude, we actually made him cry, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because he was fucking heckling everyone the whole show. He didn't realize that professional comedians can heckle a lot better than you can. And so he went out on the front porch and started crying.
Bro, it's always, man, people fucking do that. I've seen that too. It's great. When they keep poking fire and then hold their finger for a second, get burnt. And then they're like, why did you burn me? It's like, because I'm fire. You kept fucking stoking me. What did you expect to happen? Yeah,
you're in a room full of bears, and you were just like, "I think I'm gonna look real tasty today."
Yeah, dude. One of my favorite fucking things I've ever seen heckler wise was at the Comedy Cellar. Right? They were throwing like they do not tolerate heckling on any goddamn level. Like they will. Right. Unless you tell them you don't want them to throw an audience member out, the moment an audience member starts talking too much, they're fucking out. unless you stop them, which normally no one does. And they were walking this one dude out, and they kind of had to walk him across the showroom. And they normally do it pretty quickly, but the guy was just being loud. And on his way out, he kept shouting at everyone like, "I got a small dick. All right? I got a small dick. There it is. Small dick." And it was like he was like making an excuse or explaining himself as to why he was heckling. And I was like, I'm all right. If this is the new heckler rule, I'd be all right with hecklers. If like you can heckle, but then you've got to explain yourself to the audience.
Yes.
Why you're being such a cunt.
That's actually not a bad idea. Next time I get heckled, I'm just going to invite the person up and be like, you heckled me, so now you get to explain why you're a dick.
I would say you could still do that without bringing them on stage. Yeah. I feel like giving them the stage is a little dangerous.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Yeah, because then they may not want to get off, or they may suddenly produce a fucking switchblade and be like, "You let me get too close, Robbins." They fucking shank you right there. It's someone you slighted 20 years ago. You never know.
Jacob might stab me one of these days.
Yeah, I more than likely will, actually. I usually have a knife on me when I do comedy. That's a whole different story. But
yeah,
man, sadly we are very cheap fucking people, and we don't have a Zoom subscription. So we have about 8 minutes left on the call here.
Okay.
Something I want to ask you about.
Please.
I know that you are a big RoboCop fan.
I am.
So I want to ask you what your favorite RoboCop movie is, and why is it RoboCop 3?
I mean, because RoboCop 3 doesn't exist, or does it only in fucking the Caribbean? Is that yeah? I still think about that moment all the time, about like going. I have to re-record that bit, because I did it once on a Comedy Central thing and it didn't do it justice. But like, yeah, it was basically a fucking Jamaican woman. I think she was Jamaican. I don't know. She was Caribbean, and but she was a nurse at a clinic where I was getting tested for an STD, and I was getting tested because I had unprotected sex twice. And I told her that, and she goes, "Twice? Who you think you is, RoboCop?" Which just spawned this whole. I was so like overwhelmed by the statement that I was like, what does she mean by this? And I'm just convinced that there's a third RoboCop film that was made and only released in the Caribbean. And yeah. And it's funny because doing that accent, the first time I ever did it on stage, maybe 8 years ago, not that big of a deal. Nowadays, being a white dude doing a Caribbean accent, some people get really like, oh
yeah.
But I make the point to be like, oh no, I'm not doing a Caribbean accent right now. I'm doing a Caribbean accent.
Right.
Different.
Are you sure
it's a robot?
Are you sure she didn't say RoboCock? The
the
parody porn film.
That I should have asked. I was too blown away by what I just heard. Like, ooh, I think I am RoboCop.
Dude, RoboCop
like that
fucks.
I remember like when she actually like when she came back in with my results, which if you ever go to an STD clinic like in New York anyway, they don't tell you the result. They bring it back in on a folded piece of paper, basically just give it to you so you can look at it and react accordingly, right? And I remember she gave it to me. I opened it, I looked at it, saw a negative for all the shit, and I was still just like, RoboCop though. Like I was so in my head about like I think I've overthought about it by this point, but at the time it was legitimately like, what does that mean? I'm obsessed. I watched both RoboCop films because of it again. Like I hadn't seen them in years. I was like, I'm gonna watch these again. Maybe I missed something.
Maybe you need to take another trip to the Caribbean. Go back to the STD clinic and ask her, like, what did you mean?
I mean, I know that means I gotta go fuck some more. You know, I gotta have a good. I gotta have a reason. You know, I'm a method actor. I need to actually put myself in a position where I think I might have an STD.
Hey,
there it is.
Life is short.
Very Christian Bale of you. That's something that he would do.
Exactly. Thank you. You get it. And he's a great actor.
Yeah.
eat
Yeah.
a bunch of donuts, gain a bunch of weight. You know, it'd be awesome.
Already got that part down. Already halfway there, brother.
Well, dude, it has been an absolute pleasure talking with you. I wish we could talk with you some more. Hopefully, you'll want to come back again
Sure
sometime
thing.
soon, and I'll talk to you some more.
I mean, you get where you guys? Where you? So you guys, you said you're gonna come to the
Yes,
Mobile show.
Yes.
Yeah, I will for sure be at your Mobile show. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic, man! I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh yeah. I actually asked to open for you, and the host was like, "Yeah, maybe not, but your opener is Carson Taylor, who has been on this show, who is very fantastic. So
Okay,
you
cool.
will dig that guy a lot.
Awesome.
I will probably be there. I'll probably come say hi because you'll be hanging out with my friends. So
I'm gonna be in Mobile for the night. So we'll, come hang out, come drink beers,
Fantastic.
Yeah, man.
talk shit. Let's do it.
What's the date of that show, Jacob? You got it.
20th.
The 20th.
Yeah, the
June 20th.
Yeah, I can run back through all the dates here. We have June 18th at Brewski's in Hattiesburg, June 19th at Club 337 in Lafayette, Louisiana, June 20th at the Alabama Music Box in Mobile, and June 24th, actually, at Whiskey Runner's Saloon in Pensacola, Florida. So if you're listening to the show right now, I know we mostly have Southern listeners. Wherever you are, that is a lot of places to be able to go see this man. You should be able to make one of those shows. You should absolutely buy a ticket because this show's going to be fucking killer, and I cannot wait to go see it.
Thank you. You can go to SeanPatton.com. They're all there.
Awesome.
So that's buy away, please.
And
Yes,
you want to
sir.
tell everybody your wherever they can find you on social medias?
Yes. Hit me on Instagram. That's the one I use the most. It's at Mr. Sean Patton. Or just that at Mr. Sean Patton.
Yeah.
That's my most frequented.
Yeah, it's the same thing for Twitter too, at Mr. Sean Patton.
It is, yes, on Twitter as well. Yeah.
Well, cool. It's been absolutely a pleasure talking with you, Jacob. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here today?
No, just thank you so much for coming on our show. I'm such a huge fan, man. I fangirled so fucking hard when I heard back from your agent, dude. And
thanks, man. Thanks for reaching out. Hell yeah.
Of course, brother. And I will definitely be there at the Mobile show. So I'll come hang out. We'll have a few beers and we'll fucking party, man.
I'm in. Do it. Let's do it.
All right, well, let's go ahead and play some music here. If you would like to email us, you can email us at openmikerspodcast@gmail.com. We are at Open Micers on Twitter, and of course, Open Micers Podcast on Facebook. And don't forget our Patreon, openmikers.com. Go support the podcast so we can get that stupid Zoom thing and we can have longer shows. So go do that. We'll see you next week.
Later.
There
Awesome.
we go. That should have been the end of the music. I timed it.
Wow. Well, thanks for coming on the show again, man. Dude, Jacob actually got me listening to you, so I'm a huge fan now.
Fuck yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Thank Jacob for that.
I will. I'll thank you. I'll thank you accordingly, sir.
Yes.
With chalices of mead.
Yeah, we'll be over there. We'll be over there to see you at the Alabama Music Box. So everybody watching on Twitch, if you're in the southern area, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, go see him all throughout June. And we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.